And now to today's big story. The markets are still nervous over coronavirus as the death toll continues to climb. Chinese officials say more than 100 people have died of the virus, more than 4,000 infected. And Hong Kong is now planning to stop travel by rail from mainland China as the U.S. and other countries plan to evacuate citizens. It's having a huge impact on some big companies traded here in the U.S. Luckin Coffee, Starbucks, McDonald's, and Yum China have all shuttered locations in China to stop the spread of the illness. Disney has also closed down Shanghai Disney. The question is, are execs at these companies doing the right thing? Let's talk about it with Mike Rosenberg. He's an associate professor of strategic management at IESE Business School and teaches executives how to plan for all sorts of scenarios. Mike, what's your response or message to a lot of these companies? You have Starbucks closing stores. You have Luckin Coffee closing stores. Are these the right measures?
Hi, Brian. I think you have to do that. I mean, the most important thing from a business leadership point of view is to keep your people safe and to try to do the right thing in terms of public safety. So by closing locations where people can come together, by repatriating your executives and putting them responsibly in quarantine until the 14 days are up, et cetera, this is the first thing, which is to keep your own people safe and try to do your best to help the general public.
Do you think that by and large companies are doing that? Are they being proactive and trying to get ahead of it best they can and being transparent? And if so, can you name a few that you think are doing particularly well here?
Well, Alexis, you guys just mentioned a few which are already doing stuff, and I think the news cycle is so fast that we're not going to be able to keep up with what's going on. I know that Peugeot and Renault are starting to bring their people out of Wuhan. Both of them have factories there. I have not read yet whether General Motors is going to do the same thing. I mean, Wuhan is a big city. I'm not sure if your watchers or your streamers understand. It's this enormous city. It's right between the two of the biggest metropolitan areas in China, which is Shanghai on one side and Chongqing on the other. It's right on the Yangtze River. It's got automotive factories, 11 million people in the city center alone. It's a big town. And to shut down a big town and to take all your expats out, it's a big operation. So it's going to take some time.
Mike, how disruptive can this be to an executive team's plans looking out into 2020?
Well, Brian, everything's connected. So nobody was planning on this. So your plans are to do more in China, to export, motorcycles to China, to continue your investments in different parts of the world. And all of that is all of a sudden put on hold. And the scope of the problem is still far from being clear. The Chinese news agency says they're going to have the thing under control in a week or 10 days. But this is Golden Week in China. There's 3 billion trips planned. Basically, everybody in China either goes home for the new year or goes somewhere else for the new year. And all of these people are in movement. As I understand it, the virus has already been detected in 17 other places, 5 cases in the U.S. alone. So it's difficult to know where this is going to go. I think you've already reported that the stock markets around the world have taken a hit. And I think most people are just kind of waiting to see what will happen.
Mike, I know you're in Spain, quite far away from the origin of the coronavirus. But what are things like by you and our companies there taking any precautions?
Well, we in the business school, we've canceled 2 programs in Shanghai, which Shanghai is 500 miles away from Wuhan. But just in case, our corporate customers do not want their people to be traveling in China in the next 6 weeks. We have programs scheduled for June and July, which we'll see what happens with them. People are taking a very cautious approach. A colleague of mine, his friend is having dinner with a friend who just came back from China last week, and he's worried about his new baby at home. So there's a question of safety. There's a question of fear, which maybe gets out of control in some ways. But I think in most cases, companies are trying to do what's responsible and what's safe.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Mike Rosenberg, a developing story for sure. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.